So you've raised your hand to serve a cause you really believe in, and that's awesome. But let's be real, turning all that passion into effective, high-impact leadership on the nonprofit board, well, that's a whole other ballgame. In this explainer, we're going to break down exactly what you need to know to hit the ground running.
Okay, let's get right to it. You've been to a meeting or two, maybe you're looking at all these reports and thinking, okay, what am I actually supposed to be doing here? Hey, you're not alone. That feeling is super common. But don't worry, we've got you. We're about to lay out a clear roadmap to help you make a genuine difference.
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with the big picture stuff, the governance blueprint. Then we'll dive into where the real work gets done, the committees. After that, we'll get you totally comfortable with the financials, and finally, we'll wrap it all up by talking about your most important job as a board member. First things first, governance. And no, this isn't just some boring stuff about rules and bylaws, okay? It's about building a rock-solid foundation so that everyone, the board, the staff, can focus on what really matters, the mission.
You know, at its heart, a great board structure is all about one thing: eliminating confusion. It means you spend way less time wondering whose job is that and way more time doing what you're there to do. Provide that high-level strategic oversight that helps the organization soar. It's the foundation for everything.
Think of these as the three main pillars holding everything up. First, you've got to have the right mix of people around the table. Next, you need a smart way to break down the detailed work into committees. And finally, you need a super clear line between the board's role, which is governance, and the staff's role, which is running the day-to-day operations. Get these three right, and you are golden.
All right, let's pull back the curtain and look at the real engine room of the board, the committees. Seriously, this is where so much of the heavy lifting happens.
Think about it this way. Committees are the ones who do the homework. They are the deep divers. They dig into the nitty-gritty of the finances or a new program proposal so that when it comes time for the full board meeting, you're not bogged down in tiny details. Instead, you can have a smart, strategic conversation and make a solid decision. So you'll generally see two main types of committees. You've got your standing committees. These are the permanent ones, your workhorses, like the finance committee. Then you have ad hoc committees. Think of these like a special ops team, assembled for one specific mission, like a CEO search. And once the mission's done, they disband. Here's a quick look at the usual suspects you'll find. The executive committee is there for those urgent, can't-wait decisions. Your finance committee, well, they're the financial watchdogs. The governance committee makes sure the board itself is running well. And the development committee is all about bringing in the resources to fuel the mission. Each one plays a critical part. Now, I want you to pay close attention to this because it's a huge potential pitfall. The executive committee is there for emergencies, right? But it should never become a board within a board that makes all the important calls, leaving the rest of you to just rubber stamp their decisions. Real governance means the whole board is wrestling with the big questions together. Okay, let's shift gears and talk about the F word, financials. I know, this is the part that can make new board members a little nervous, but I promise we're going to make this super simple, starting with the single most important report you need to understand. The best way, and I mean the absolute best way, to think about this statement is as a photograph. It's not a movie showing how money moved over the whole year. It is a single snapshot of your organization's financial health on one specific day. What you own, what you owe, and what's left over. That's it. So, on one side of this photo, you've got your assets. This is all the stuff the organization owns. Some of it is current assets, like cash you can use right away. And some of it is long-term assets, like a building or a van that helps you do your work for years to come. And on the other side, that's your liabilities. It's just a fancy word for what the organization owes. Current liabilities are the bills you have to pay pretty soon, within a year. And long-term liabilities are things like a mortgage that you'll be paying off over time. Now here's the magic. When you take what you own and subtract what you owe, what's left over is your net assets. This is your organization's financial cushion. But, and this is a really big but, it's crucial you know the difference between funds without donor restrictions, which are flexible, and funds with restrictions, which are legally tied to a specific purpose a donor wanted. All right, enough with the theory, right? Let's get our hands dirty and see how this all works in the real world. We're going to do a quick financial health check on a sample nonprofit. So here are the top-line numbers for our made-up community impact nonprofit. Don't get lost in the weeds just yet. Just take a quick glance. You can see that pretty much everything went up from 2023 to 2024. At first glance, that seems pretty good, right? But an effective board member digs a little deeper. So the first quick health check we can do is something called the current ratio.
It sounds complicated, but it's not. You just take your current assets, the cash you have on hand, and divide it by your current liabilities, the bills you have to pay soon. And look at that, 3.86. Now, to put that in perspective, anything over 2.0 is considered very healthy. So this organization is in a great short-term cash position.
Now, this slide is where you can see how a really effective board member thinks. You celebrate the good news, for sure. Net assets and cash are both way up. But you also spot the things that make you go, what's the story there? And that question mark next to receivables growth? That's gold. That's where your value as a board member really shines. And this right here, this is the kind of question that moves you from being a passive observer to an active, engaged governor. Notice, it's not an accusation. You're not pointing fingers. You're simply asking a clarifying question to understand the story behind the numbers. Is this increased because you landed a huge new grant? That's awesome. Or is it because someone is really late on paying you? That could be a problem. Your job is to ask. For our final piece of the puzzle, we're going to zoom all the way back out. We're moving past the numbers and the committees to the fundamental principle that should guide every single decision you ever make as a board member. And that is the duty of loyalty. This isn't just a nice idea, folks. This is a legal and ethical bedrock. It simply means that when you're in that boardroom, the organization's interests come first, period. Your personal interests, your professional interests, they all take a back seat to the mission. So let's make this really practical. Imagine a board member named Tom owns an accounting firm, and the nonprofit needs a new auditor. A potential conflict of interest, right? Here's how he handles it perfectly. 1, he discloses it up front. 2, he'll answer questions about his firm, but he won't lobby for it. 3, and this is key, he physically leaves the room when it's time to discuss and vote. And 4, everything is documented. This protects Tom, and it protects the organization. So there you have it. We've covered governance structure, committees, the financials, and your core ethical duties. You now have the complete toolkit to be a truly fantastic board member. So I'll leave you with this one question. Now that you're armed with this knowledge, what is the one insightful question you're going to bring to your next board meeting to help drive your mission forward? So you've raised your hand to serve a cause you